Mind coming up and leading us in a word of prayer?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Let us pray. Heavenly Creator, as we have come through this holy week, this past week, we step forward into this new spring, knowing that your light is shining upon this city. We ask your blessing upon our city council, upon our mayor, all the representatives of our city who are going to speak this evening. We know that your blessing continues to anoint us and continues to abide in us as we experience the light of your grace this day. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Council of Prisco, could you please lead us in the pledge?
Yes, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please call the roll.
Councilperson Modesto.
Here.
Councilperson Clem.
Here.
Councilperson Williams.
Here.
Councilperson Cannon.
Here.
Councilperson Zilli.
Here.
Councilperson Lynch.
Here.
Councilperson Aprisco.
Here.
We have the minutes from the previous meeting.
Make a
Motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Did you get that, Mr. Clerk? Please call the roll.
Councilperson Modesto.
Yes.
Councilperson Clem.
Yes.
Councilperson Williams.
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon.
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli.
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch.
Yes.
Councilperson Aprisco.
Yes.
We have communication and correspondence from the mayor. There's a few things that are coming up. Tuesday, May 1st, this year, the council meeting is on May 1st, is going to be Youth Government Day. We have a ton of awards being made that we typically do for state champs, and we just had a ton of them this year. So we're working on getting all those together. We're working with Coach Wally to make sure we get it right, because sometimes we don't get it right, but we have a lot of that. There's going to be a lot of presentations. So Parks, Jenny, there's probably going to be a full house here next week, and that's going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. On Thursday, May 3rd, I just noticed this. On Thursday, May 3rd, we have the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast, and Thursday, May 17th, we have the Senior Health Fair. Thank you. That turned out, that was always a crazy day. So Thursday, May 3rd is the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. We'd invite everybody to that. That's the National Day of Prayer. And if you have any questions about that, I don't see Amanda here, but you can call her. It's a pretty big breakfast. There's quite a few people that come. We appreciate that. Everybody knows we need a lot of prayer. And then Thursday, May 17th is the Senior Health Fair. And Sue, do you want to talk about that on my behalf? Real quick.
Well, it's our 17th year, so we're very proud of that. We have a wonderful health fair and a luncheon following. So it starts at 9 a.m. We have a lot of vendors. We have about 80 vendors. And it ends at noon with a luncheon for our seniors. So it's a great turnout. We have a lot of opportunities for our seniors to be presented.
Thank you. I believe that health fair is it's the largest in the region. It's pretty big, isn't it?
Pretty premier.
She fills it up. A lot of people come. And I remember a couple years ago we were trying to get that elevator done in time. So, other announcements. Last month at this meeting, we recognized and took a moment of silence for Mr. Officer Jeff Podgorski, and we lost him. What a friend he was to the city. I often remember going up to the detective department or seeing him on the street and how much of a friend he was. He was an officer's officer. He was a friend to this city. And Debbie's here today and her son James. Would you, just for a second, you don't need to stand up or anything, but I want to make sure that we have a moment of silence again for him and remember him. And we just appreciate his service. Let's have a moment of silence. Thank you. Debbie's also here with a bunch of other people. And I want everybody to hear. I want to address it right off the bat. And I talked to her earlier. There's some sort of a snafu with the health insurance situation, And I want the council to know and everybody else to know that issue is going to be dealt with. I have met with the union. I've talked to the operators. I just got to talk to Debbie about it, and that issue will be resolved. Debbie, I know that you asked somebody earlier about a time frame, and I'm going to put a time frame on it for me to work towards, and that wouldn't be this Board of Works meeting, but it would be the second Board of Works meeting in the month of April. So I think that meeting is the April 23rd. 23rd or the 24th. So by that time, we will have a resolution to that issue, and any things that you've had to do in the meantime, we will get it taken care of. All right. Thank you. And thank you all for being here in support of her. I do appreciate that as well. I think that's the end of my business. Receptions of petitions and memorials, I don't have any of those. Clerk Treasurer's report. There's none. Reports of standing committees. I skipped city officials. Chief Williams, why don't you come on up and give us your report? And you have permission to leave when this meeting's over, or when you're done speaking, if you'd like.
See how it goes. The cover's been a little longer than I anticipated. All right, how are we doing tonight?
Oh, good. Fine.
Excellent, thank you. I think I mentioned last time we advertised for applicants. We handed out, I believe, 62 applications. 17 have been returned so far. They're typically at a last surge a day or two before they're supposed to be due, which is April 9th. A week or two after that, we'll do the written test, and then we'll do the agility test. So at some point, we'll be moving forward, and we'll be working with the merit board to get that process finalized. And I'll make it talked about later, but I met with Walmart reps, and one from Indianapolis and one from Chicago on March 21st. And they're, some of them were just now claiming to hear of some of the concerns. I provided them all the same correspondence that I provided you before and the corporation before. They had some solutions they were working on internally. They promised that I would hear back from them before the meeting tonight. I hadn't heard back until this morning when I finally reached out to them and like, hey, have you made a decision on anything? So they said they're going to make some internal changes and change the value or total value of theft of when they call us. I don't want to give out what that number is. That's their internal determination. We'll see if that has any effect on things, but we will monitor that closely. Let's see, we hosted middle of March 2 active shooter survival workshops for teachers and school staff. That was extremely well received. We had over 70 students between the two classes. We have 2 additional, well 3 now. We have classes scheduled for April 10th and 17th. And due to the number of signups, had to open up another class, a 5th class, on April 24th to accommodate all the signups. So we're pretty happy about that, and again, the response has been overwhelming. You can let you look at the course critique sheets that people have filled out. We'll be looking to schedule our Citizens Academy and Youth Explorers classes soon, or at least get those dates out. A lot of moving parts going on with these other classes we're holding and a couple other things I'll be mentioning, but we want to get that on the board. 2 administrators, Assistant Chief Uzelak, somewhere in this audience, and Captain Maynard will be attending Northwestern University's School of Police Staff Command. It's one of the top, if not the top, police leadership schools in the country. I attended in 2014. It's an excellent school. It's 10 weeks. They have 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off to complete the sessions. It's going to be held in St. John, and again, you can't ask for a better police leadership school than that. We'll send this out in a follow-up email, but May 14th, there's our annual department inspection memorial service. So, and that will be again held at Founders Square. Sorry, so you'll all be invited to that. And,
when is that, Chief? Pardon? When is that?
May 14th.
Okay.
Usually at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. Did want to touch real briefly. There's been a lot of changes in the E911 Communication Center. We had got advised of them potentially wanting to move to a 2 frequency for the county. Each we have our own frequency right now. And then a week after being told that, we were advised of a 1 frequency for the entire county. We have some concerns, wanted to kind of just throw it out there tonight, and we will, as we gather more information, bring that to you and keep you updated about that.
Please do.
Yeah. Does anybody have any questions for me?
No, thank you. Just noticing Antonio's hat. That's a nice hat. Huh? It's a really nice hat. Chief Pfeiffer?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, Chief. Hello, sir.
Several things. We are also in our hiring process running right now. One of the things that we do that I think is kind of unique is we partner with Chesterton and Valpo, so we share the costs with that. So we're taking applications now. If you go to our Facebook page, all the information's there. I don't remember it all offhand right now, but so we will be putting our list together also. One of the things that we're working on with the Exchange Club is Child Abuse Prevention Awareness Month. That's a lot to say, but we do Pinwheels for Peace at Station 3 every year. We've done this, our second year working with the Exchange Club on this. So that date is April 18th at Fire Station 3 on the west lawn there at 11:30, if you guys can make that.
What was the date again on that, Chief?
That is April 18th.
Thank you.
11:30? 11:30. Right before lunch, and then everybody breaks and goes to lunch meeting following. So, I told you guys, a lot's happened in the last couple months and we didn't get to speak. But our year-end report, didn't get to talk about it. I will put it live on the city's webpage tomorrow, so you guys, if you guys want to take a look at it. Just some of the highlights, though, that I wanted to hit with you guys. Last year we went to 4,591 calls. That was 360 more calls than the previous year. So every year we are going up in calls. Out of that we had 100, last year we had 106 working fires. That's where we have to lay hose on the ground to put a fire out. The year before that we had 105. Our fire loss, though, was greatly reduced last year. In 2016 we had a couple of fires at a couple of the steel mills that were high dollar loss. And our 2016 dollar loss was almost $3 million. Last year's was $800,000, so that's better. One of the things that we really focused on and that I'm really proud of is we felt that our training hours were starting to decline. And we put a real focus on training last year. So we did 10,500 hours of training last year, which works out to be 169 hours of training per person. We only did 7,800 hours of training the year before that, which was 126 hours per person. So we focused on that. 40 more hours of training is a lot of training in the year, so we're pretty happy with that. One of the things we talked about, and it's a concern but not a concern, but building inspections went down by a lot. One of the things, talking to Chris Kendra, the building inspector, one of the things we talked about, because in 2016 we did 224 building inspections, and then last year we only did 137. But Chris also sits on our planning commission, and as you guys know, building in the city is going way up.
DRC, Developmental Review Committee. That's all right. I just wanted to correct you.
Thank you. So Chris sits on that, and he's spending more time working on new buildings and not current buildings. So it's just one of those things, as building goes up, his time gets divided. So current building inspections went down, but obviously with a lot more building, that went up. The last thing is we purchased a new rescue. We're going to get it April 9th. So we'll have a brand new ambulance, and for everybody else, we call ambulances rescues here in the city because it's staffed with firefighters and firefighting equipment. So we're going to get that April 9th, and we'll do some training on it and get it in service shortly. When we put it in service, you guys will all know.
Tom, I know everybody's we're trying to move through this meeting.
Yeah.
But can you really quickly talk about what we've done with the rescues, with the boxes? Because I know you talk about that at the Board of Works often, and I don't think probably most of the members here know what you do. What's happening now?
All right, so this will be the last. So we, several years ago, we went with a company called Braun. Braun gives a lifetime guarantee on the patient compartment. So we currently have 4 ambulances in the city. This will be the last purchase of a brand new complete ambulance we need to make. Because now all of our ambulances will be Braun ambulances with the lifetime guarantee on the patient compartment. So what will happen in the future is, when the truck part, the chassis wears out, we will order a new chassis, they will pull the box off, they'll slide it on the new truck, they'll repaint it and stuff to make sure it looks good, and then we'll have a brand new ambulance right back in service. It'll cut our build time down, and it'll also cut, a chassis right now, to buy a new chassis is about $159,000 compared to the $300,000 we're paying for a new ambulance. So, the cost of ambulances will drop greatly because now all 4 of our boxes are lifetime guaranteed.
Nice.
So that's
Good job.
That'll be very good for us in the future as we move forward. And at this point, all 4 ambulances are exactly the same. The boxes are all designed the same, the compartments are all the same. So that means all the equipment will be in the exact same spot. Our young guys, they get bounced to station to station to station. And, we wake up groggy in the middle of the night. Sometimes that piece of equipment isn't in the exact same spot as it was where you work every day. So it'll help when everything's in the exact same spot all the time.
Very good. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
You get them to do that for snowplow?
Yeah.
Chief Pfeiffer and Chief Williams, I would like you to get the council the dates of a couple not FOP, sorry. I got the FOP everywhere, so it's on my mind. A couple of dates of the merit board meetings, just so that they are aware of them. When we go through this hiring process, I talk about it often, but you need to, if you have the opportunity as a council member to go to a merit board meeting, go. Meet your merit board members. They work hundreds of hours for free, and they hire everybody you see here, almost everybody you see in front of you from the fire and police have been hired on a merit board. Almost, not Bill. Oh, you were? Okay, sorry.
Well,
you look older than that, Bill.
I would suggest to them too, as we put together, like when we're running our agility tests, and they see some of the rigors that we put people through to get a job here, you might be interested in seeing some of that too.
So just give them the schedule so they can see the things and you can see what these guys do.
I quit eating Reese's peanut butter cups, and I run 5 miles every day, and some days I run 10 or 15.
You look good. You look good.
Yeah, this is my second set of brand new uniforms I've had to buy.
Good job.
Keep it up.
Thank you.
Hang in there, sir.
I figured you'd notice that, Liz. I've got Andy's going to be coming on Marina Shores. Jenny, do you have any updates that are necessary as we're trying to move through? Does anybody have any questions for Jenny? All right, then who else? Mr. Nelson is here. I saw him come in. Is he still here? Does anybody need him for anything? Sorry, Steve. I know you're coming up, but I'm just asking. Okay, never mind. You got something to say.
I just want to let everybody know we're running lead packs for the month of April. Try to get your stuff out by then. After May 1st, we'll be switching over for road repairs and maintenance. We're doing a lot of paving work this year, so everybody be aware, cautious, courteous of our crews out there, and be safe around them. This is bulk week, so the week we pick up once a month. We don't charge you for up to 40 square foot of bulk. After this, if you don't get it out this week, there's a charge for picking up bulk. That's all I got. Any questions for me?
Would you mention a little bit about taking compost, community compost going to the...
Compost to the city site. Bringing compost.
We'll be collecting for Porter County residents this year at our city location, okay? We came into an agreement with the Porter County board that Sue sits on. They help us every year with our grinding of tree limbs and trees and stuff like that for the tune of $40,000, which is almost covers our grinding every year. We're gonna open it up for a trial this year, to let Porter County residents come to our site at the street department and drop off limbs and leaves, not grass clippings, but we'll take limbs and leaves there from Porter County residents that wanna come up here. We'll probably get them out of the South Haven area, maybe a little bit towards Chesterton, but there's an even bigger site in Belleville that pretty much South County will use Belleville. So we're gonna try that this year and see. We've got a great partnership with Porter County. They help us a lot with our reset, our mulch, our leaves, everything out there. So we're trying to work together to make it good for everyone.
Well, and we have the electric pod, the electronics pod there too. So I got some
That's right.
complaints, Steve.
True.
People were complaining on Facebook about, well, why does Portage have to take that? I just wanted people to understand that it's a give and take with the district and the
Yes.
city, so.
We collect e-waste at our site, and we'll be doing that also for Porter County residents. We open that up for that. And we collect all your TVs, all your electronic stuff. We collect that stuff there. The Porter County Solid Waste, they supply semi-trailers for us, which we load them up and they haul these TVs off free of charge to us. So we've got labor to handle it, but other than that, it's the best way in the world to get rid of this stuff. It gets recycled down to the place in Indianapolis, so.
I just used it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Drop something off.
We fill up a semi a month of this stuff, there's so much coming in. And it's always the old great big TVs, 1,000 pounds, you know. Any questions?
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thanks
You're
for
saying,
your help.
Steve, thanks.
Thank you. Any reports from standing committees?
No.
Introduction of ordinances, the Marina Shores Economic Development Target Extension, Mr. Miletta.
Ordinance number 18, an ordinance extending the time period of an economic development target area. Whereas on November 1st, 2016, the Common Council adopted ordinance 16-13, which established an economic development target area for the area indicated on Exhibit A. And whereas said economic development target area was set to expire 18 months after the adoption of ordinance 16-13. And whereas the Common Council finds a need for the continuation of the economic development target area to encourage development and redevelopment. Therefore, be it, and it is hereby ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Indiana as follows. Section 1, Economic Development Target Area, the expiration extension. The Economic Development Target Area created by Ordinance 16-13 is hereby extended to expire on April 30th, 2019. Let the record show that this is read in its entirety.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. Is there any discussion? Please call the roll.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
No.
Councilperson, Williams?
Williams, you said Williams?
Williams.
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
Yes.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes.
Councilperson Aprisco?
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry.
Thank you very much.
Excessive police calls. Chief Williams, you want to get up here just in case you're asked a question?
An ordinance of the City of Portage, Indiana, amending Chapter 54 of the Municipal Code of the City of Portage entitled Offenses and Miscellaneous Provisions. Be it, and it hereby is ordained by the Common Council of the City of Portage, Porter County, Indiana as follows. Section 1, Ordinance Edition, Article 1, in general, shall be amended by adding a new section 54-11 to read as follows. Section 5411, excessive police calls. A, purpose. The purpose of this section is to provide administrative and civil remedies against businesses that permit, allow, or fail to prevent excessive calls for police services related to anything other than ambulance calls, welfare checks, routine traffic stops, and motor vehicle accidents. These excessive calls compromise public health, safety, and welfare to the City of Portage. Do you want me to read the whole thing?
No.
Let the record show this has been read in its entirety.
Motion to suspend.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to suspend. Please call the roll.
Councilperson Modesto?
Yes.
Councilperson Clem?
Yes.
Councilperson Williams?
Yes.
Councilperson Cannon?
No.
Councilperson Zilli?
Yes.
Councilperson Lynch?
Yes,
Councilperson Abruzzo?
Yes.
Thank you.
thank you, Troy.
Under new business, we have the CF1 approvals.
Make a motion to approve the CF.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All,
I have a question on there, Mayor.
go ahead.
I'm trying to look at it for a minute. I noticed that Caramuse is dated 12/31/15, and then at the bottom it says substantially complete on this date. What does that mean, Andy?
Say that again.
Let me pull it up.
Well, it's dated 12/31/15. This is
And then there's a little
2018.
star.
And then there's a little star and it says substantially complete on this date. So that isn't this date. This date is 2015 on here.
Well, so this is a CF1 form. So
Okay.
what the star is referring to is when the project completed. The CF1 form is an ongoing annual form that they have to complete to say that they're in compliance with the terms of their abatement. So yeah, the project completed in 2015, but until
they're still
their
getting
abatement expires, they have to file this form once a
Okay,
year.
I just thought maybe it would have a 2018 date on it.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't
It
be.
wouldn't?
And unless the project didn't
still
finish in
ongoing.
2018,
Okay.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We've noticed the taxpayers. Are there any? We have reception of remonstrances, public input, or any other business. This is where we allow residents, if they have something.
I'd like to bring something up as an ordinance chairman. With the ordinance that we have in place with the impervious monies, fees that we charge in our businesses that are in town, I think they're absurd. They are very large amounts that have jumped. I don't think this is a proper way that the city should show support to our businesses nor our future businesses. They have went from, just for a simple example, from $12.50 to over $1,100 a month from one business. That's absurd. I'm against charging a company or a business in our city limits such amounts. You're not going to give businesses or companies come into our community, invest in our community when those kind of outrageous rates. And I'm asking at this time for, we also been taking the funds and putting them in an escrow. We can't even touch them. We're just taking these people's monies and putting them in an escrow. I think it's absurd. I'm asking for the escrow to be replenished back to the participants that paid it, and the ordinance be resolved till we further come up. We have appointed a committee. Mark is the chairman from our board, or utility board. And until we come to a different conclusion, I think we should cease all billing. And the ordinance needs to be resolved. Revoked, yeah. That's a motion.
Okay, hang on. We need to understand what that motion is. So I want to, because that was a long motion.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, so I think that I'm gonna tell you, I'm not in agreement. But I don't have a vote here. But what I'm concerned about with that is if we revoke the ordinance, there isn't a mechanism because the ordinance that was passed revoked the previous ordinance. So what we would do is we would eliminate all collection of stormwater fees. And I'm sorry, because I'm looking at the utility attorney on this one, but I think I'm accurate.
I think the 2017 ordinance revoked the 2010 ordinance.
So that would mean there would be no collection of any fees, which then puts some employees in jeopardy.
Okay, well then just the impervious.
Hang on. I don't know that we can. That's what I'm trying to say. I think that you all are having an executive session on Friday.
We are.
It's not to discuss this.
Right. It's not to discuss this?
No.
Okay.
It's not to discuss this ordinance.
Okay, it's not to discuss this ordinance, you're right. So,
It's to discuss pending litigation.
it's to discuss pending litigation, which I wasn't gonna bring up tonight.
Thank you.
The point, I think the point is that I think there might be, we've got to have a new ordinance ready to go before we revoke the one that's in place.
I don't know if you heard, Mayor, we did, this may help in your recommendation. In the USB meeting, we did form a committee to take a look at the ordinance itself. And the group, the USB voted not to accept this motion at that level, but to have the committee take a look at the ordinance itself to see if we could change the language.
The other curveball may be that I think the council can only act on a recommendation from the USB, whether formulated properly or not. And so I don't know that the council can even entertain that motion because that motion was voted down at the Utility Services Board level.
So I'm not trying to, Pat, I'm not trying
That's
to.
fine, hey, I'm just trying to stick up for our businesses.
I understand, and I think the businesses that are here heard you, and I think that there's a goal to get resolution between everybody sitting up here as quickly as possible.
That's true.
Make sure that it's.
I don't know if this,
possible,
I wasn't at the previous meeting,
month.
but I don't know if there was something said about getting a list together of what businesses paid in 16, what businesses paid in 17 and what they paid in 18. Was that discussed?
We discussed that, and we're gonna leave it up to the committee to look into all of that, so.
I'll be the chairperson, I'll take a couple of people on the board, on the USB board.
I'm letting you know, Councilman Oprisco, that I'd really like to see that list, to get a list of
I think we all wanna see that list, so I know it's gonna be.
Okay. All right, so hopefully we can get this taken care of quickly. And there's a motion on the floor.
That's all my point is.
There's a motion on the floor. Are you rescinding the motion?
I'll rescind it, yeah.
Thank you. All right. Now, public input. Is there anybody here to speak publicly? You have 2 minutes. We would ask that you state your name and address. There's nobody here to speak publicly. Is there somebody? Oh, go ahead.
I thought we were gonna get out of here early.
I know. I was ready to.
Motion to adjourn.
No, good. State.
My name is Beto.
There you go.
Beto Barrera, and I'm at 2961 on Fern Street. I just thought that I was recalling last month's meeting, which was a lot of arguing about the service utility board and all these lawsuits that were going on. So I was wondering what's happening with that. I know that the bodies were going to get together with their attorneys or what, but we don't know, or I don't know what's going on and how much money is being costing us so far, and how much money we think we're going to spend more on that issue. So where are we with those lawsuits or their dispute that we were having?
We're coming close to something.
Pardon me?
We're close. We're getting close sooner or later, real quick. So.
And I would concur with the council president.
Pardon
me? We're close to
resolve it as quickly as possible.
Do you want to say it in unison?
Pardon?
You want to say it in unison?
Yeah, we're trying.
We're
close to resolution.
Okay. Do we expect to spend more money on that issue?
We hope not.
I'm really concerned about that money. I mean, I was trained by my councilman here not to spend a lot of money here. So we are hoping that we don't have to spend very valuable resources that perhaps we don't have.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
I agree. Oh, hi, Mr. Wellman.
Dan Wellman, 6320 Victory. Just a comment. I'm kind of surprised that a list wasn't formed before the ordinance was passed so that you would know how it was going to affect our businesses. And I suggest that if you decide to revamp the ordinance, that you produce a new list to see how fair it is going to be to businesses, because it's been, from what I've heard, pretty unfair to some of the businesses and then really fair to some others. So I hope you make that comparison before you sign on to something else.
Thank you, Mr. Wellman.
Thanks, Dan.
All right, you had something to say, Mr. Prisco?
Friday the 6th, council meeting. I would like to have a city council meeting at 5:20. We have a session at 4:10, I believe, or 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock.
For the USB. I would like to have a city council meeting at 5:20 PM following that to go over the things that we couldn't vote on, the 2 agenda items.
Oh, so a regular meeting?
I'd like to vote on the shores, Marina Shores, and the other ordinance for the calls, for the police calls.
And I'm just letting you know, I can't commit to that time right now.
Okay, that's fine, but I think it's important that we move forward on these. That's my motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
5:20 PM.
Well, so I guess to clarify, the exec session is not here. So where's the exec session?
The exec session is gonna be in my office only because the attorney that is gonna be calling in from Indianapolis by phone, and I have a good speaker system phone, he wasn't comfortable doing it on his cell phone.
5:20.
Yeah, it shouldn't last more than an hour.
5:30, I'll make
So make it
a change.
5:30.
I'll make it to 5:30. Jenny, is that okay for you to have this room set up for us?
I'll check the book for you.
Let me know tomorrow, but I'm sure we'll find somewhere in the park.
That's.
For a regular council meeting?
Yeah, Friday.
Special one, just a second.
We're all together, he's trying to.
Move it through.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have to vote on it.
You gotta vote on your new meeting?
Wait till Jen comes back.
She's
So,
confirming.
I'll tell you what, I'll find a place here, let's just go ahead and vote on it.
They're voting on the meeting. The location is still open.
Okay. Vote.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And then is there a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say
Aye.
aye.